আমি গোলাম মেরাদ বাংলাদেশ মুক্তিযোদ্ধা সংসদ যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের অ্যাডভাইজার হিসেবে বলছি। আমরা বাংলাদেশে যুদ্ধাপরাধীদের বিচার এবং বর্তমান সরকারের জঙ্গিবাদ নির্মূলের যে পদক্ষেপ নিচ্ছে এবং মার্কিন প্রশাসন স্পেশালি বিশেষ করে কংগ্রেসম্যান পিটার কিং, চেয়ারম্যান হোমল্যান্ড সিকিউরিটি, উনি আমাদেরকে এভাবে সাহায্য ও সহায়তা করতেছেন। সেই জন্য আমরা যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের পক্ষ থেকে বর্তমান প্রশাসনকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠান বাংলাদেশে যুদ্ধাপরাধীদের বিচার এবং জঙ্গিবাদ নির্মূল প্রশ্নে মার্কিন প্রশাসন যেভাবে সাহায্য সহায়তা করতেছে, আজকে আমাদের কংগ্রেসম্যান পিটার কিং, যিনি কংগ্রেসম্যান হোমল্যান্ড সিকিউরিটির চেয়ারম্যান, ওনার নেতৃত্বে বাংলাদেশকে অধিকারের সাহায্য এবং এই সন্ত্রাসবাদ নির্মূলে ওনার পদক্ষেপ আমরা স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি এবং আমরা ওনাকে সাহায্য সহায়তা করার জন্য আজকে এখানে মিলিত হচ্ছি।
How are you? Yeah, how are you? How you doing? Good. Good morning. Good to see you all again. That's unusual that Irish guys are on time, so.
We have two Bangladesh time. But the ban was written in 1995.
Okay. Okay.
That is from the Giuliani.
Wow,
in
okay.
1993.
Wow.
A road cannot be Texida, I think you gotta walk one time.
Okay. Okay. Let me talk to Bob Turner. Okay. You know, Bob Turner, the new congressman from New York, is in the Homeland Security. Yeah, hands down in Florida this weekend with his family.
Oh, yeah?
That's not President's.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Between Romney and Perry, I go with Romney.
That's what we thought most of us think.
A lot of Catholics will not go out.
Yeah,
Stay
that
home.
shouldn't be.
That's the problem.
King and his staff, Kevin, they're from Washington DC and supporting in Bangladesh in many ways. Wrote a letter to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina recently that Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Dhaka, dear Prime Minister Hasina, as you know that this committee in Bangladesh and other extremist groups, the cooperation of nations around the world is essential to preventing terrorism, and I would like to commend Bangladesh as a leading ally of the United States in this endeavor. Your action has empowered the nation to stand firm against radical influence emanating from Pakistan and Afghanistan. I thank you for your Congress. So he has been supporting Bangladesh, and I'm looking for him that I have a brief section which brought a 30 thinly distinguished Albert elaborately brief period of the militant role as an. After that, the Sheikh Hasina has also shown a keen interest since returning to power in undoing past crimes by her political enemies against both her father. Between 2001 and 6, about the rise of the militant view was relatively moderate by some. The Awami League alleged that it also had led government of the following fundamentalist groups to flourish: a smaller Islamic party within the government, the Ulama Ulada Jot, was a supporter of the Taliban in Afghanistan. In total, the BNP-led government banned the 5 militant groups. Jamaat-e-Mujahideen halted markedly since in speaking in 2005, suggesting that there has been a genuine and effective crackdown since then. In 2008, a major campaign against the terrorist money laundering was launched. In early 2009, newspaper reported that the Sheikh Hasina's government has made life much more difficult for the Jamaat-e-Mujahideen and the other militant groups since it took place. More support to Bangladesh present government in hunting the more terror, and we are planning to have under the leadership of Congressman Peter King, we say to him, get a bill as you did in the Pakistan, that you curtail all this, the financial support there, and move it to in Bangladesh side, so that we can hunt down the zero tolerance in the country. So our appeal to you, in planning to nationwide, the committee have a quarterly meeting with the like a Homeland Security to support you. Even in the United States, what happened? You see, the guy he has 2 weeks ago has been killed, and the nationwide have a repercussion. There's a lot of Muslim community; they are not bad, but we are. Their killer is hiding in the United States. He also repeatedly saying that we can bring him back and back them to the Bangladesh and brought them in the justice. And financially is in the finance committee, also in select intelligence committee. 5 million people killed like a part of the 9 months of the period. So we would like to, we don't want to take any elements from Bangladesh. They went 80s, went to Afghanistan, and they were trained under Taliban. And when after that they have returned to Bangladesh to join them, they have exploded some bombs in all over the country for like I think 6
On the Republican side, Benjamin Goodman has retired, so and he has taken care of our problems so much. Really grateful.
Work. Like I have 2 daughters, they're going to college, and I'm in high school. And as I say, 1.5 million Bangladeshi living. The thing is that when they come outside, I also when I come outside, we are with Bangladeshi here, and I also always anything that any Bangladeshi say, they want to go there.
I think Bangladesh is a very good country, and existing Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she trying her level best. Before the BNP government was almost 10 years they ruling, and they supported a lot of things. And one of the colleagues, he already discussed about one of the minister brother, he directly involved about the terrorism, about the 21 August. And Bangladesh is not really terrorist country, and bank they try to push different way like a stipend or like a gift or this kind of things. And some like a mosque is our holy place, and most of the mosque have some madrasa, and these madrasa students is grown up from the beginning. If I get the company with like a honorable congressman like a Peter King.
Terrorism. About our war criminals, we had a war in 1971. We still didn't get justice for the war criminals who are in Pakistan, and even our last government, they gave them some people to a job to different countries as an ambassador. They are living there, so we want to bring them back to our country and have justice. And whoever living in the country, like Jamaat Islam, some of them, Razakar, Al-Badr, those. So if you can, American government can help us, help our government have freedom fighters. Is there? They want to see broad-wise. This is terrorism everywhere. So
for this community, everybody, any problem, we come to you. This is the issue right now in Bangladesh. This is the ruling party. They are like moderate. They are like American free society. They like people should grow whatever they think, they believe, and the religion should be their own. Not you cannot pursue anybody to do with the religion. In the past days, we saw that
war criminals, those who are living here, I would like to request you again to hand over to our present government. We can get justice, and all can get some ideas what the present government is doing in our country.
And I like to welcome you. Thank you for this. And like America, every religion has equal politician and the youth.
And if you also like to say, we like to include the subject in this and learn more Islamic books and everything.
Our, let's say, political situation in our country with like terrorism, because our Prime Minister already declared she tried to stop the Jamaat Islam. So it's going to be a big conflict in that political way. Because
we have a school, a lot of kids in the Muslim people, so these kids sometimes they don't know which one ham, which one is the halal food. You can try to tell the school community board.
So the question is this now, we still there exist, and that part in Southeast Asia and my land, though I'm a freedom fighter and a soldier of liberty.
Global terrorism, and Bangladesh is taking a leading part in SAARC countries, like a committee of the Homeland Security. And we are also appealing to you to have a visit to Bangladesh, and we can give you the government formalities to get a letter from them to invite you in the country so that you can see in the spotlight there how the country is doing, meeting with the official, meeting with the administration, meeting with the many other people related to those. And third thing is in the United States, we are looking from him as the co-chair of Bangladesh Congressional Caucus. and he needs to be very active in the Muslim community. We can cooperate with the formally national. We can form a committee to tackle this present administration to get rid of this terrorism what doing, and they compare with the pastism. And I explain, I have given all this paper, and he has given the written support from him, and we need more support from the whole committee, so that the present administration will go for the United States, that the counter-terrorism, we are getting support from the United States. Now,
you again. I actually grew up nearby here on 44th Street, so it's great to be back home. When I was living here, we didn't have any Bangladesh people, and you've certainly made it a better place, so it's great to be here. Let me just try and touch on some of these. First of all, let me just say in a semi-humorous note, I get everything for nothing. So anyway, thanks for that. But seriously, thank Golan for being such a good friend. Thank all of you. I've met almost all of you one time, a number of times in my office here in Jackson Heights. And again, just over the years, and you've been great supporters, and I certainly try to work with you. I'm proud to be co-chairman of the Bangladesh caucus. And I've said this before, and I'm not just saying it because I'm meeting with you here today. There's no doubt the Bangladesh community is extremely anti-terrorist. When I've gone to meetings, and the hall you have nearby here, it's on 37th Avenue, is it?
37th Club.
To see the extent of the pro-Americanism, to watch the record of the government in Bangladesh now, where the Prime Minister is moving against terrorism. There's no doubt at all in my mind that the people of Bangladesh, both in Bangladesh and here in the United States, are totally anti-terrorist, anti-Al-Qaeda, anti-Taliban, and that's not even an issue as far as I'm concerned. Also, I would say that when we look at countries in South Asia, and we know that Bangladesh is working against terrorism, I wish we had the same cooperation with Pakistan as we do with Bangladesh. There's no doubt we're going through very, very tough times with Pakistan right now. And you saw what Admiral Mullen said just several weeks ago about how the ISI is almost an adjunct to an annex of the Taliban. And so it's, and also there's no doubt the extremist and terrorist influences there are in the Taliban government and also in the movement in Kashmir. So that's why it makes Bangladesh all the more important to the United States from a strategic point of view. So I will work with you. I work with the Bangladesh government. I will have the Homeland Security Committee. Let me just mention on the committee, Bob Turner, the new congressman who just elected from Queens, has been appointed to the Homeland Security Committee. I asked specifically to have him on the committee, and the Speaker agreed to put him on it, so we would have an extra representative from New York and actually representing Queens. I think it would be very important to your community as well. I know he's told me that he wants to work with you also. Also want to thank Joe Crowley for letting me into his district here. I know I'm in the Crowley district, and I know that Joe Crowley rules with an iron hand, so I'm glad that I'm to be here today. There's several issues that were raised. I do have to leave by 11:20. I told Golan that I have to be out there, so I listened to everything all of you were saying. Specifically, Doc, you mentioned about the fact that you received bad treatment at the airport. Yeah, listen, that is something we have to stop. I have worked with a number of people in your community as far as if they're on terror watch lists, whatever. We work as hard, and probably harder for the Muslim community to know this, because we realize the extra pressures that are on you, and there has been a guilt by association. There's no doubt. Now, there are elements of the Muslim community in this country who I believe do not cooperate. That does not apply to the Bangladesh community, but whether or not people cooperate, there's no reason why, because he's a Muslim, he should receive any ill treatment whatsoever. So if you are going to be traveling, let us know. We've done this in the past for others to make sure that there are no problems. We try to minimize the problems anyway. So just contact my office, or do through Golan, or contact me directly, to let me know on that. As far as providing assistance to your government, whether or not there's going to be any extra aid, that I can't say. Right now, we're talking about cutting money all over the place. And I think in some cases too much, but it'll be difficult to be getting more money at this time. However, there's no reason why we can't have better coordination between our government and yours, and I'll be talking to Secretary Clinton, who I know has been supportive, as far as I know, but I'll ask her again to accelerate that and to improve it. As far as the issue of the war criminals, now that you do have a truly democratic government in Bangladesh, what I would ask you to do is, I know you give me a lot of material, if you could have somebody break down, let's say 4 or 5 of the major cases and the individuals, and if you give them to me, I will contact the Attorney General to see what can be done on that, okay? And also the Human Rights Corps. But I would ask that you be specific and try to pick out the 4 or 5 that you feel are the most important to you. That, I think, would be more meaningful, and it would be easier to set a precedent by doing it that way. There are other issues that were raised as far as like local school issues. I think you mentioned, again, I would suggest the mayor, but if you're having a problem, let me know, and I can talk to the mayor, I can talk to the borough president, whoever it happens to be, to try to expedite that for you. I think I covered most of the points you raised. But I just want to emphasize again, and I don't mean this in a patronizing way, because I have had hearings about radicalization in the Muslim community, and I can realize why people such as yourself feel that that's a broad brush. But the fact is there are elements in the Muslim community, and we have them on Long Island, and not Bangladesh, but they are not cooperating the way they should. We have a situation today, if you'll see in Newsday, that Shamir Khan, who was killed in Yemen, actually was raised in Nassau County, and he continued to have contacts with people in Nassau and Suffolk County when he was affiliated with Al-Qaeda. So that does have to be looked at, just as the Italian community, when it's the Mafia, the Irish community, we have the Westies, we can go through any of them, and I just think there are certain people, and I've had some difficulties with the Islamic Center on Long Island. Some of the people there, I think, who react against, rather than cooperate, they push back. And I think that makes it difficult for everyone. And so I want you to know, though, you've never heard anything from me about the Quran or Sharia law. I've never said anything about Islam as religion itself, but I do say there are people who have perverted Islam, and they're living in the community, and unfortunately some of the leaders do not want to cooperate with law enforcement against them. That's really the point that I've been trying to make. That is certainly... And in doing that, I try to highlight when I'm talking about it. I always make the comparison to the Bangladesh community, which I go out of my way to say has been extremely cooperative. And when I go to Bangladesh meetings, as have been in your office, it's God bless America, America the beautiful. I mean, Pledge of Allegiance. It's as patriotic as you could find anywhere, and that certainly has made an impression on me. And so I will end on that. If there's anything in particular you want to ask me, and again, I've listened to everything you've been saying. Kevin Fogarty, my chief of staff, is here. Wondering where Ann is, probably. Ann is usually with me. Ann got lazy this weekend. She's down in Florida. She's on vacation. And Kevin and I agreed to give her the weekend off, but she has to agree never to take another day off for the next 2 years, okay? But she is away for the weekend, and but she sends her best, believe me.
So, thank you for doing an outstanding job. There's no doubt that she's moving against terrorism, and there's also no doubt, as was pointed out, there have been people in Bangladesh who have been in Afghanistan and are being trained, and now they're back, and you have to root them out. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the Al-Qaeda influence throughout South Asia has been enormous, and governments deserve credit for fighting back. And unfortunately, we don't get that same level of cooperation from the government in Pakistan, and that's just the reality of it. And so we have to know who our friends are and who's not our friends. And I certainly consider the government in Bangladesh to be a good friend of the United States, and hopefully we're a good friend of yours. Okay? Yes, I do. Certainly.